So the Browns take on the Giants on Sunday Night Football. America's new team, supposed to be on this time slot, the Cowboys. Not America's team anymore. Sorry Cowboys fans. Sorry my wife's entire family. No. But in this time slot, we were able to watch the Browns, America's new favorite team. And it was a very convincing win. You'd think like I'd start dancing in this video and the other videos that they win convincingly, I dance and things like that. But this was one of those expected wins, but you know what, never mind. I loosely interpret the term dance, okay? If you've ever been to a wedding that I've been at, you know that's especially true when I drink a few beers. And that's the tough thing about these Sunday games, they don't come until like 8:30, 8:20. By then, I've already tried to just entertain myself through all these other boring games. No fantasy hopes at this point, so whatever. But anyway, there's a gift for you guys. Last time I danced on a video, the people at work found it and they put it on a video call. That was pretty cool. Or not, I guess, but oh well. That one's probably gonna be even better for them. So let's just get to it. So, we always start these out with the classic Browns moment. And it's hard, it's really hard in these games where we're doing the right things to pick out a moment. I mean, there weren't any bonehead penalties this time. There weren't any things where I was really just blown away by the stupidity of the Browns. I think the closest thing that we can get is when we were basically about to score, and it turns out we decided to commit a penalty to back us up 15 yards, but it was another first and goal, just 20 yards away. We got close again, and then we managed to get another penalty right there on the end zone. So it was like we were trying not to score, but didn't matter because, this team's just rolling at this point. And I mean, I hate Baker Mayfield. I mean, I said that many times. But I'm beginning to get convinced that this guy knows what he's doing a little bit. It's really strange to say. It's almost like at the end of the year here, he had a discussion with his wife, and they were like, look, man, you need a job. So these progressive commercials are great, but probably should play convincingly so you can maybe get a better contract next time around. And he's doing it. I mean, I don't know. If he just keeps doing this all the way out, not only are we going to have a chance, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, which he claims to like from his interviews, but, pretty amazing. Anyway, let me kind of just buzz you in another topic here. Cody Parkey. Cody Parkey was just doinking all over the place in Chicago until it came down to that point where he really needed to not doink. Then he became the double doink. Here he is in Cleveland now, regularly missing field goals. And I get it, Landry did some kind of thing, there was some kind of back and forth. It was like when you're driving in a car or something and somebody cuts you off and they're driving really fast, but for some reason you get pulled over. I mean, that was what happened there. He got up, he was celebrating, the other guy probably said something to him, he turned around and said something back, but for some reason he's the one who got the penalty. I get it, whatever. But Cody Parkey, that's in the middle of the field. That's literally you practice this. This is what you practice, you dummy. Why are you doinking the ball? 48 yards? That's not even impressive. Justin Tucker could have hit that with his other leg. Justin Tucker could have hit that with his arm. I mean, God, we need to find a better solution before we get to those hard games, because mark my words, and I will play it back later on, if we get to one of those tough games and Cody Parkey screws it up by kicking the ball and bounces it off the thing, I mean, it's just, we're going to lose. We're going to lose, guys. It's going to be a moment where he needs to do something and he's not going to be able to do it. In fact, if you remember back in the day, there used to be this thing that they did, this what's up, where people would call people and they'd be like, what's up? Well now, whenever Cody Parkey doinks, my entire family and basically everybody I know texts each other, doink, 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 doink. It's like, what's up? Doink. I mean, that's what I'm feeling right now. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. We need to do something, honestly, to just go ahead and fix the problem that we have with Cody Parkey and his broken-ass leg. I mean, Phil Dawson, guys, Phil Dawson, the highest scoring Browns player ever, Phil Dawson. He waited around for us to have anybody for him to help him out. And he would Justin Tucker you all the way to the finish line, but we never had anybody for him. Poor Phil Dawson, and then he had to go and play on the Cowboys for his waning years. I mean, as they were going down in flames, it just what a bad send-off for Phil Dawson. But one thing I do want to throw up here real quick that you guys will probably like. There was a graphic that appeared in the game. I'll go ahead and put it up now. It was about how dismal it is in New York, and how New York in particular is having a complete lack of offense these days, and how basically between the two New York teams, they're just, I don't know, some sort of factory of sadness. But we can't use that term. That's reserved for Cleveland. But here we are. We're actually watching a Browns game, and they're talking about two other teams, not in Ohio, being terrible. What's happening right now, guys? I mean, that brings a smile to my face. I can't do anything other than grin about that. That's fantastic. I remember in like the early 2000s, and I looked so hard for this, guys. The end of that game, we knew it was going to end, and I was just waiting for that 5 minutes to elapse so I could make this video. I went and looked so hard for the old SportsCenter clips of when the Browns used to play the Bengals, and they would literally play circus music over the highlights. And I mean, it was basically warranting circus music, what you were watching in the highlight itself, but incredible. I mean, like, what an insult. Two teams that get circus music, but they're professional team playing. I mean, the Buckeyes have never gotten circus music. I mean, I don't know, it just was like, they were so bad, that's the way it was. But now, in a game where we're actually watching the Browns play, and play convincingly, we're hearing about another state and their struggles. I don't know. I'm gonna just start like a folder of screenshots that I take during the season that just blew my mind, because here's another one. And hey, I'm wearing my Blue Jackets gear because the NHL now has a plan. Early January, we're going to get to see some NHL. Blue Jackets, I checked, middling in the rankings. Normally they're like late 20s, but now they're in like 14. So people are kind of having some faith in our defense. Really hope we show up this year. And the Buckeyes, oh, by the way, they got into the playoffs again. Oh, and by the way, Dabo Swinney was the one who tried to talk about us not getting in the most. Is it because he's afraid of us? Is it because he really thinks that, the Buckeyes really just shouldn't get in because the Big Ten screwed up and slipped? And I'm sure everyone else in the football world was like, what a black eye. We're trying to get this season to happen. We're trying to change the public view, and the Big Ten just taps out. Really pissed us off too, people in the Big Ten. So, Dabo, why don't you calm down a little bit and just worry about what you got going on? Don't know if I love their defense. Don't know if we have enough offense to beat them. But last year we sure as hell should have beat Clemson. So I hope we have a better plan this year. Otherwise, I just can't take another loss. And that was a bullshit loss last year. If you watched it, you know. But anyway, back to these Browns. Gonna play the Jets next week. And it was like all year I'd circled that date on the calendar. I was just gonna make sure that was the one game I enjoyed the most. Here they finally won a game. Screwed themselves out of probably getting Trevor Lawrence now, which really is just gonna piss off everyone in New York. And how apropos is that for New York? I mean, go back to that graphic, guys. This is what New York's living with. And they're just not even going to try to change that. I mean, it really makes you feel a little bit of a smile on the inside to know that the Browns are not the most mocked, organization around. And not only that, but Jimmy Haslam is going to bring us to the first playoff game, at least. Well, probably victory, I'm hoping, but game in, 15 plus years, 15 to 20 years. And at the same time, the crew has turned around too under, their ownership. So really, it seems like Cleveland's got some things going on. And when the Indians start playing again, I don't know. There's going to be a lot to watch, guys. I don't really know that I can review all the Indians games because there's just so many. I might have to do like a weekly review on that or something. But it's a good time, guys, in Ohio. I mean, it's weird that in these COVID times, us people in Ohio, well, mid to northern Ohio, because the Cincinnati Bengals are really not feeling great right now, I'm sure. But man, we're having a good time, Bring on the lake effect snow, because at this point, I think we're all feeling really good about ourselves. And we haven't clinched yet, but we have all but clinched. Did I just say butt clinched? Anyway, so yeah, keep watching, guys. If we can beat the Jets, then I think we'll be in a pretty good spot here going into the playoffs. Stay tuned.